What's going on, party people? Captain Zeus here, and I'm here to talk about the brand new Marvel trailer that dropped for Avengers Doomsday. Now, I have a lot of concerns about Doomsday itself, not just the trailer, but the movie. One concern I have is, what is the point of the movie? We know nothing about what's supposed to be happening here. All we know is that there are people from different universes clashing and colliding here. Now, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be the incursion or convergence event that happened in the comics. It seems to be, but again, it didn't seem like there was any preludes to this happening. Yes, we've had a few end credit scenes that have alluded to something going on, something big on its way, but nothing that actually built the story towards it. For example, in phase 1, in almost every single one of the solo films, with obviously end credit scenes or mentions of Thanos and the impending invasion. Phase 2 was very much dealt with Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D., which led to the Age of Ultron movie, not as well as phase 1, of course, but still prevalent. Phase 3, not as much, but hey, we saw with at least Ant-Man and the Wasp and some end credit scenes the building towards Infinity War. Very much the end of the saga, which still connected phases 1, 2, and 3 all together. Now, I don't really know what phase we're in right now because nothing's ever been clear about anything past post-Endgame. I think it's 6, but again, it's unsure because like Disney has been, or Marvel really, this entire post-Endgame event, there hasn't been a true plan. Yes, we had the multiversal saga to set things up here for the next foray into the MCU, centered around Kang as the antagonist, and the only time we got to see Kang was in Ant-Man Quantumanium, which was a terrible way to introduce the biggest bad in the multiverse for the MCU. Sure, they had a fantastic casting. Sure, the casting scenario didn't go well because of some IRL life events that happened. But you know what they could have done? Recasted the character like they've done with other characters before. You had still a plan. Yeah, you flopped with that movie, but you have multiple movies and shows like Loki that they kind of worked with to build this character up to be such a threat. Instead, what did they do? They threw the whole thing out the window. Why? Because we got shows like Agatha, Ironheart, and movies like The Marvels, you know, to really build things up here, and it's exactly what fans wanted. Now, don't get me wrong, post-Endgame has actually had some good content in there. We've had Moon Knight, Daredevil Born Again, Hawkeye, Werewolf by Night. I actually like Eternals, although that's a hot take, I get it. But there are good stuff that's happened post-Endgame that they could have used to build around. What did they build around with Doom? Introducing the Fantastic Four that isn't even the main MCU timeline Fantastic Four, it's actually an alternate timeline, which only had Doom pop up in there at the end for like 5 seconds and didn't actually allude to an actual plot to validate an entire Avengers movie. Do I think this movie is going to do well at the box office? Absolutely. Is it because of the same scenario with No Way Home where there's no actual plot and it's just nostalgia baiting? Absolutely. Does this mean I'm discrediting the characters or the actors involved? No, because there are so many characters in there that we have loved seeing on the screen in the past and recently and wanted to see again, such as Shang-Chi, Channing Tatum's Gambit, the X-Men, and so on. Now we get to see them again all clashing together in essentially a nerdy orgasm of who would win in which fight. But it still comes down to the question of, what is this movie about? How is this the end of the multiversal saga? Now, Secret Wars is supposed to be rebooting the MCU, like a soft reboot, but it's just kind of confirming what a lot of MCU haters and fans alike have been thinking. They're out of ideas, which is wild because you have a ton of comics to go off of in terms of ideas. Do I think Secret Wars will be a cool event? Absolutely. I'm not saying these movies aren't going to be entertaining in the slightest. I'm just trying to figure out why we're getting to this point so soon. The Kang Dynasty would have been dope at this point. The mutant saga being entered in before Secret Wars would have also been dope. Do I think they are only doing the mutant saga after the multiverse saga because they're going to merge the universes together, kind of like what they did in the comics with the Ultimate and the main timeline universe? Absolutely. I said that fast in one breath. But I think Doomsday is just going to be Secret Wars Part 1. I think at the end of the day, that's really what this is. is I have no doubts that RDJ is going to do good as Doom. He sounded great in the trailer. Why did we cast RDJ though? He, fantastic actor as he is, didn't need to be Doom. We could have had anyone else to play Doom. This is the time where you start showcasing other actors, up and coming ones or big ones everyone knows but hasn't been into the MCU yet. This is where, you know, fans are like, oh, how are they going to portray it? But we just get RDJ again, which is going to be like, oh, how's this going to work with, you know, him and Spider-Man? Is this going to be like a superior Iron Man situation or a superior Doctor Doom situation, or what? How is this going to work? And it's sad to see the MCU in the state that it's in. Not too long before or after the trailer dropped, Kevin Feige had an interview about how much of a loser he feels regarding the Blade movie not being up and running.
Very excited that we got Wesley back for a time in Deadpool and Wolverine, and like a gigantic loser and failure that we didn't get off the ground with Mahershala.
Mind you, they're trying to make a Blade movie that's not just a guy in a trench coat killing vampires, which is the whole point of the Blade movies, by the way, that everyone has loved, except for Trinity. We don't talk about Blade Trinity.
You're all alone, Blade. No one's gonna help you now.
So if you can't even handle things as simple as Blade, how can people actually trust the vision, or lack thereof, for the upcoming events or movies for the MCU? Also, I just want to point out that the poster and the concept art for this movie looks terrible. Like, it just looks bad. I don't want to accuse generative AI, okay? I don't want to say that. You know, with the AI slop that's out there these days, I don't want to besmirch the great name of Marvel like that. But I mean, it just looks kind of sus, man. We're how many months away from the release and we don't even have an official poster? Nothing. The only thing we have is a concept art and essentially a concept poster, which doesn't really tell us anything either. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't hate the MCU. I don't hate Marvel. I'm a huge Marvel fan. I'm a bigger DC fan for sure, but I'm a huge Marvel fan and I wanted the MCU to succeed. They just keep giving us crap, dude. I don't understand it. They're the creators of the superhero fatigue. So I'm very skeptical of this. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this trailer that dropped was not exciting, was very meh. All they did was it threw us characters and didn't give us plot. And you know what's sad about that? For a fact, that sold people. Because at the end of the day, at least with Marvel, and it seems to be the trend with a lot of people, the story doesn't matter. If you show them a famous face or a famous character and something action sequency within 30 seconds, it got people hooked because of the short-term attention span of all these kids that are on TikTok. And it's such a shame because Marvel used to be coming out with
banger after banger after banger after banger after banger.
And we're at the point where, I mean, it's loser after loser after loser. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on the Doomsday trailer and the future of the MCU. I'm Captain Zeus. I will see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and have a fantastic day. Bye.